today we're here to talk about your resumes and the 3 things that you might be getting wrong when you're doing and developing your resume templates, and we're going to talk about them.
I'm Renata Bernarde, a virtual career coach and job hunting expert and creator of the Job Hunting Made Simple online course. Every week I record a live career coaching session where I help you with your career progression. I'm also the host of the Job Hunting podcast, where I interview experts to discuss recruitment, job hunting, and jobs of the future. So make sure you subscribe, follow, and welcome aboard.
Oh, Stella is telling me that yes, we have good audio. Oh, thank goodness. I did a bit of testing during the week and a bit of testing this morning when I woke up as well to make sure that the audio was going to work. You never know. You never really know with Facebook. And I have a boom arm now. You can see that the microphone is elevated, and Instagram is now live as well. Excellent. We can start. So, hello everyone. Welcome to another live career coaching session with me. For those who don't know me and those who are new, my name is Renata Bernarde. I am a career coach. My expertise is in career advancement, job hunting, and helping you progress in your career. I love doing that. I have a whole range of services and an online course to support people at every investment level, and that's my goal. My goal is to make career coaching something that's accessible for professionals at several points in their career lifetime, and not just when they are very senior and can afford an expensive coach. So my goal for the next few years is to develop more and more interesting services to support professionals all over the world. So have a look at my website and see what I can offer. I also have a whole bunch of free resources, and I want to show you one of them. It's a workbook that you can download. How to job hunt during turbulent times. If you go to my website, you will find this on the sidebar next to the blog and the podcast and live coaching sessions that I do. But Ella is going to add that link to the comments below. It's Ella, but it's actually Estella. It's Estella, you have to put your correct name on your Instagram account, otherwise I call you by your nickname. So Estella works with us. She's our social media manager and the podcast manager, and she's following me, telling me that there's good audio everywhere. Thank goodness. And today we're here to talk about your resumes and the 3 things that you might be getting wrong when you're doing and developing your resume templates, and we're going to talk about them because 2 weeks ago we launched a podcast episode. So I have a podcast. It's the Job Hunting Podcast. You can find it everywhere, iTunes, Spotify, on my blog. So have a look at that. And the number 35 is an interview with a very well-known recruiter in Australia. Her name is Anita Ziemer, and towards the end of that chat she mentioned 3 things that she really wanted every candidate to know about what to do with their resumes and how important those 3 things are for people that are reading the resumes like herself. And we're going to talk about those 3 things, and then I'm going to jump on my Facebook group and give them a little bit more love. I have a Facebook group. It's a private group, and I love the people in there. These are job hunters and people that really want a little bit more love from me. It's free. All you need to do is join. So I hop into that group for a little bit longer and I talk to them a little bit more. I post more often inside the group, and I really want the group to be a sounding board, a support system, an accountability system for those that are job hunting all over the world. We have people from all over the world inside that group. So if you're interested to sign up, please join us in there. And I do a public coaching that then goes on my blog here, and then I do a private one that doesn't get disclosed. It stays inside that group and it gives them a competitive advantage. So if you're keen, go in there and you will get a little bit more bonus information about what to do to make your resume stand out. So the three things that Anita Ziemer explained on that podcast, she said it very quickly, so we're going to unpack that today. And if you have any questions as you're watching this now or later on, because this gets recorded and you can watch it on Instagram, you can watch it on Facebook or on my blog, just leave me a question on the comments below and I'll answer for you. We always look at the questions and the comments and we'll answer for you later on. So number one, Anita would love to see 2 to 3 lines explaining where you work. Okay, so you should never assume that hiring managers and recruiters and whoever is reading your resume will know where you worked before. This is really important, especially if you're moving countries, if you are moving sectors. So many sectors now are not doing so well during COVID, and you might be transferring your skills and your experience into another sector. So spend some time explaining what that organization is, what they do, and try to use metrics, the number of clients that the organization services, or revenue figures. Those are really important information to give the recruiter or hiring manager the idea of the scope that you've dealt with and the size of the organization that you worked for. So spend a little bit of time with that. And that is Anita's first pet peeve, and mine as well. So in my resumes and the resumes that I do for my clients, I always add 2 to 3 lines explaining what the organization that they've worked for is all about. And I have here a couple of examples from my personal resume. I can't give you examples of clients' resumes, of course, and I will tell you what they are. So I moved countries, and many years ago, back in the 90s, I had a business in Brazil. It was a travel agency and an educational agency. So I used to service corporate accounts for corporate travel, and I also used to send those employees to do MBAs overseas and things like that. So this is what I wrote about my company, which I then sold. It's still there. I wrote that the company was a travel and international education agency in Brazil, that's my home country, ranked luxury tours top seller by Abercrombie and Kent, and consistently ranked amongst the top selling agencies in the region. Corporate accounts, so those were my clients, corporate accounts included Nortel, Valeo, and Mercedes-Benz. So what I was trying to do is explain that the company was well ranked, that it was one of the top sellers for a very well-known luxury international travel brand that's better known in the tourism world. Abercrombie and Kent is quite a well-known brand. And I also mentioned the name of 3 of my corporate clients that are global organizations. So people would then say, okay, I don't know her business, but I know these other businesses. So I can relate to where, she comes from and where she worked. So this is a good way for you to do that. Another good way for you to do that explanation is by using numbers. So I'll give you another example. So this is when I worked for a university. One of the largest business faculties in Australia, with over 16,000 students spread across local and international campuses. The faculty is the key strategic driver for the university's 1.5 billion revenue. Okay, so this is a university that has a name that maybe if I was moving overseas, people wouldn't have heard of them. But those numbers mean something to business people. So There you go. And look, even if you're changing sectors, people might know the name of this organization in Australia, but they don't really understand how big the business is, right? So just translating that is really important, and you can translate that really well with numbers. So that's number one tip from Anita and myself to improve your resume. Number two is to add 2 to 3 dot points to address your key responsibilities under each job. Okay? Now, what people often do is they add too many responsibilities under each job because that's an easy thing to do. You usually kind of copy paste it from your job description, and you add very little in terms of key achievements under each job. Ideally, what you want to do is 50-50 with 3 to 4 dot points under each. So with the responsibilities, focus on the key ones that were essential to that role. Maybe have in your master resume a full list, and then choose the 3 to 4 that will best align with the job that you're applying for. Okay, so there could be some responsibilities that were very important for that role, but really means nothing for the job that you're applying for. So use that real estate in your resume really strategically and focus on those key responsibilities that will better align with the job ad that you're applying for. And then focus on developing key achievements. Now, key achievements, they require a little bit of more thoughtful self-reflection from you. They're usually harder to include. It may be that you were part of a team and it's harder for you to write about your personal achievements as part of your job. But it's important to find that language and explain what is the value of your capabilities, skills, and experience that you've added to that previous work, so that the hiring manager and the recruiter reading it can say, okay, so she or he has done this before, they can do this again, right? And they have achieved this before, they can achieve this again. This is what the key achievements are supposed to do. So it is really important for you to develop 2 to 3 key achievements under each of the jobs that you're listing in your resume. So work on that. So those are the 3 things, guys. Really important for you to develop them and maybe have more, as I said, but cut it down so that it aligns to the job that you're applying for. Have a master resume and then have versions of it for different job applications. That will be very easy for you to cut and paste and adapt over time. And maybe I can give you some of my responsibilities and achievements. So let me see if I can do that. Yeah, I can do that. I'm going to read you one responsibility from my personal resume and one achievement from my personal resume. How about that? That could be helpful. So in terms of responsibility, I will read you one. Reporting to the CEO. Now, I always like to do that because it explains to the reader where you were in the organizational structure of the company you were working for. And look, my resume is a senior resume. Doesn't matter where you are in your career. It's still important for the recruiter and hiring manager to know, okay? So don't be put off by the fact that I was reporting to the CEO or reporting to a board. Wherever you were reporting to, it's important for you to explain where you're at in your career so that they can understand where to place you professionally and recruit you, okay? So in my case, I was reporting to the CEO. Responsibilities included leading the overall membership strategy at state and national levels, enhancing engagement across all categories to achieve funding and advocacy targets, and providing recommendations to the board in relation to the membership growth. So that's sort of the way that I wrote the story. I could have written it differently. I could have dot pointed it. I usually do responsibilities as a story and then achievements as dot points. That's usually my personal style for clients. I might do it differently depending on their profession and the sector that they work for. So, I'm kind of simplifying things here for you. I have different cards under my sleeve that I use depending on the client that I'm working for. And then in terms of achievement, for that same role, yes, it was the same role. Increased national membership by 53% in 2 years. See what I mean? It's really great to showcase any type of metrics if you have them, if you can. Depending on your sector, it might not be easy for you to identify those metrics. But for me, because I was in business development and, basically sales, that's great growth to showcase. New national members included organizations such as John Holland, Bankwest, Minerals Council, Macquarie Group. I could also show not only the metrics, but the type of organizations that I liaised with. That shows what type of networking I can do again, right? So that's really something that you should think of. If you don't have the metrics, use that kind of storytelling to let people know what you can achieve for your new employer. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it's been good for you. I'm glad, so glad that the audio has been great. I can see that Estella is adding some content there for you. Also, listen to the podcast from this week with Mohit Bhargava. He has been such a pleasure to interview. It was such a great chit chat and we had great fun. And today he announced his new role. He's moving to Southeast Asia, to Malaysia specifically, to work for a very large entertainment conglomerate there as the general manager for marketing and sales. So I'm very, very happy and proud of him to take up such a great new role. But the conversation we had was about thriving in a new country and how to adapt and succeed professionally in a new country. And this might be a conversation that many of you would relate to. So get to the podcast wherever you listen to your podcast, or go to the comment boxes below and Estella will add a link very soon so that you can follow that one as well with Mohit. Bye for now, and I will see you next week. Oh, and for those of you who are inside the group, I will see you soon with, let me see, I have three more bonus ideas for your resume to make it star resume. Talk soon. Bye.
I hope this session helped you with your job hunting and career plans. Don't forget to follow me, and most importantly, subscribe to the Reset Your Career community so that I can send you my weekly newsletter for job hunters and career enthusiasts, as well as my free tools and extra love. Bye for now, and see you next time.